conclusion to Better Call Saul, and I cannot wait to see what unfolds on next week's series finale. But first, tonight's episode took us on a wild ride that was heartbreaking and hilarious and exhilarating. Not only did Kim survive the Breaking Bad era, but she made a new life in Florida, and she swapped arguing in court for small talk about what makes mayonnaise mayonnaise. But after a surprise phone call from Gene, Kim decided to come clean, try to make amends for her role in Howard's death. Meanwhile, Gene's brazen behavior seems to have caught up with him as Marion saw through his con and alerted the police. So, what will Saul do now that his cover's been blown? What will be the fallout of Kim's confession? And what fate awaits Saul in next week's series finale? On tonight's show, we're going to talk about all of it. We have interviews with the cast and producers, including ones with Giancarlo Esposito, Tony Dalton, and Carol Burnett. My guests are executive producers and creators of Better Call Saul, Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, the one and only Bob Odenkirk, a.k.a. Jimmy, a.k.a. Saul, a.k.a. Gene, and Kim Wexler herself, Ray Seahorn. I am Chris Hardwick, and this is Talking Saul. Welcome. Please welcome my guests, Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, Bob Odenkirk, and Ray Seahorn are here. First of all, congratulations on the Emmy noms this season. Very cool. Congratulations. Ray, is this your first nomination?
It appears to be my first nomination. Yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, first of all, I was very relieved, as were a lot of people, to see that Kim survived. Like, she made it through the Breaking Bad era. She's there. Fear of Living On Twitter says, Kim Wexler's still alive in Breaking Bad's timeline. Oh my God, thank you. Punisher Base on Twitter says, literally yelled, she's alive! Like Marty at the end of Back to the Future 2. Blair on Twitter says, Kim Wexler hanging out with Karens is the cruelest twist of the entire Breaking Bad universe. And Ray Seahorn in the house, phenomenal actress. Love that you were back in Better Call Saul. What was your reaction to Kim being very much alive in Florida?
Well, Peter had talked to me about the fact that I would come back. Because Peter and Vince have been very respectful of actors whenever they're gone forever and letting them know. So I knew I would come back in some capacity, and but I didn't know what capacity. So when I got this script, written by Vince and directed by Vince, I was very surprised. I knew that I had some wig fittings, and it was challenging, but then it was so beautiful to understand that she is a shell of a person and just kind of like living this life that for me was the answer to her saying I wanted more when she, way back when she interviewed with Schweikert and Coakley and said, I just wanted more. And I think she thinks she flew too close to the sun, and now she's tamping it all down. And it was sad.
But she was still Kim Wexler. She had a new job and a new appearance, but she still was Kim Wexler.
She was, but you shouldn't see that till the birthday party scene when she's singing. So one of the challenges that Vince and I had was, should you see those cracks in the armor prior to that? And we talked about it, and then we talked to Peter about it as far as like, how long has she been living this life? And we truly believe that she's gotten so used to the performance she's doing. It is sincere. When she's like, let's sign the kitty cat card, it's real for that moment. And then you shouldn't see the cracks until Jimmy calls her.
Yeah, and when Jimmy, Saul, calls her, why is he so intense with her?
Because she won't give him anything. He hasn't seen her in, I don't know how long. What is it, a year and a half? Or?
I think it's been 6 years.
Yeah. Oh, 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, well, that makes sense. And I don't watch the show. But 6 years. But she won't give him anything. And, you know, I mean, it's just a phone call. Can't you say anything nice or anything at all?
Yeah.
And
he is a fugitive.
What do you mean?
He is a fugitive.
When was the last time we were together?
When you're signing the divorce paper.
Very dismissive.
You know, come on, he was totally compartmentalizing and putting on a show. But, yeah, that's why.
Peter, what does Kim's ultimate confession and visit to Cheryl symbolize?
I don't know if it symbolizes anything. I think this has been a burden she's been carrying. I think if she had her way, she would have confessed right away. I think she would have left the apartment, and instead of going to Florida, I think she would have gone to the police if she could have safely done that and not involved Jimmy and not involved Gus and Mike and all that. So I think she's living under a cloud because she hasn't been able to tell the truth.
Yeah, but she improvises this elegant lie to Cheryl.
Yes.
At the the gathering, and it's so like cold. It's so cold and so precise that it's like, oh my God, she's like out jimmying Jimmy in this moment. But then obviously it all comes to a head, and she has this breakdown on the bus. What was that moment like for you and for her?
Yeah, that memorial scene, but also the scene where I go to her and confess. You're right. Those are, and Vince and I and Peter, we really thought about how to calibrate that, because I think that Kim does not think she deserves to be the one who anyone needs to feel sorry for in that moment. So I do think that she suppresses. I am here to do penance. I'm here to allow the victims to actually be the victims. And then on the bus scene, and we were on a real tram, right? Yeah. Vince going around ABQ Airport, and Vince told me and Peter told me this is not this episode's letting go. This is six seasons, 7 years of her letting go of what she's become, what she has done to herself. And I understood that, and it hurt in my chest.
Vince, what do you remember about directing that scene?
I just remember I was nervous about it all day. I didn't have any reason to be because, Ray, I knew she'd crush it. But it was just, we put 4 cameras, locked them down in the back of this bus. It's a real bus. If you go to Albuquerque now and rent a car there flying into the airport, the odds of you riding this actual bus are probably pretty good. And
so you say that now, a bunch of Breaking Bad fans and Better Call Saul fans are going to be like, why are our trams so full of people not flying anywhere?
I figure it's good for the city.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Tourism dollars,
Yeah.
But it was just, and my sweetie Holly is sitting next to Ray.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Holly's in there. And it was just fun. We did 2 takes of it. I felt guilty, Ray, making you do a second take because you were perfect on the first one. But I'm neurotic. I got to have more than 1 take. But you just nailed it. I think we did use the second take, if that makes you feel better. But it was just, she just crushed it. And it was just perfect 2 times. And it was a lot of fun. But I was anxious. I think I was kind of anxious for Ray leading up to it.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We have interviews with the cast and crew, including ones with Giancarlo Esposito, Tony Dalton, and Carol Burnett. We'll be right back on Talking.
Marion is the mother of the cab driver who identified Gene as Saul. And what happens is that she has really liked Gene a whole lot. And she finds out that he is indeed Saul Goodman, and she is very upset and hurt and angry. And he is very upset, and he's also kind of threatening. And she pulls out her life alert, and she blows a whistle on him, and he splits. It's really hard to be mad at each other, so we really have to pull out our acting chops, I have to say. I'm going to miss a lot of the group. There's a lot of love in this group, and I know they've been together since Breaking Bad, and this is a family, and you can feel it. And as I said, there's a lot of love.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Welcome back to Talking Saul. That was the legendary Carol Burnett. Which, by the way, we're 1 floor above where they shot the Carol Burnett show.
Yeah.
The talent entrance in the
great.
building is called the Carol Burnett Talent Entrance. So this is legendary for a legend. YML on 11 on Twitter says Carol Burnett was not on my Better Call Saul bingo card. A total treat. Mr. Jim Messina says there's nothing more wholesome than watching a legend Carol Burnett enjoying a kitten riding a Roomba and calling her a cutie patootie. Oibe on Twitter says kudos to casting. Carol Burnett is a national treasure. What was it? Like shooting the scene where you kind of threatened a national treasure, Carol Burnett, Bob Odenkirk.
Super fun. Oh my God, that was the greatest. I loved her so much. I mean, just as a person and her, of course, her career and her show, but working with her was a joy. And she's just so present and giving and sweet and such a great actress. I mean, if you see that last scene where Saul is, you know, I don't know, going to strangle her or something, and then the sweetness of her face and her hurt on her heart that hurts so much in that moment melts his steely anger, and he remembers that he's human again briefly and can't do it. Thank God. I couldn't actually do it.
No, I'm glad.
I mean, which is to say, obviously I couldn't actually do it, but I wouldn't like if you had written that Saul kills her.
I was really close.
But he gets close, which is crazy. But you know what's great about that? It's the furthest length that he's gone. Mm-hmm. It's great that he really is doing this whole scam just to burn up his life. He's trying to destroy himself.
I'm glad you said that because I was trying to figure out, like, what is his angle at this point? And also, from so many times...
It's like the movie Leaving Las Vegas. It's
yeah,
like,
right.
I'm gonna do these scams and until you catch me and I go down or something. I'm just gonna burn this down because he's not enjoying the Cinnabon job. And he's not enjoying being hidden away. And as hard as it is, Ray's talking about Kim struggling and her 6 years of suffering as this other version of herself in Florida. Well, it's even worse, I would say, for Jimmy to be utterly mute as his effusive character is. He can't handle it. And he's having like a heart attack or something in the Cinnabon. What, he has a brain? Yeah. What does he have there? A stroke?
Well, he just like a panic attack.
Panic attack that takes him down, sends him to the hospital.
Because there are points throughout this where you're like, okay, I feel like your character, okay, maybe he's going to have a redemption arc. And then you see, like, Kim's character has a redemption arc where she comes clean. Mm-hmm. And then, two things. You almost kill that poor guy on the stairs, and then you approach Carol Burnett, and I'm
you
like...
wanted to see me kill him. That's different.
No, I do want to see kill anybody because I feel like... by the end of the episode last night, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that redemption arc is coming. Like, I so, like the idea of like what's going to happen in the final episode where it ends with you almost killing Carol Burnett. Like, I can't imagine. Like, is it possible for this character to be redeemed at this point?
I don't want to spoiler alert, but he does try to jump Snake River Canyon. But other than that,
nothing to see. Greer J on Facebook says, Vince, how did you get Carol Burnett on the show?
Well, I tell you, I'll try to make it quick. This is a real Hollywood story, the way we met. But we've known each other now for 6 or 7 years. We met in the most Hollywood of ways. We both have a favorite limo driver, a guy named Jason, who is awesome. And, we'd get, I don't travel this way every day, I promise. But every now and then, if you go to the Emmys or whatnot, if you're lucky enough to get to go, the studio sends you. And Jason, our driver, would say, hey, my friend Carol's a real big fan of yours. She loves Breaking Bad. This was back in the Breaking Bad days. And I said, great, Carol who? Carol Burnett. I was like, what? And Jason was our intermediary. We met cute through Jason, our driver. And like one day, Holly and I'd be in the car and we'd get a box set of the Carol Burnett show.
Oh my gosh!
I've seen them all anyway, but it was a gift from her. And then I got her a barrel set, which I gave to her through Jason. Finally, one day I get in the car and Jason says, Carol just says, just let's cut out the middleman, and let's. She suggests that you guys all have dinner together.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's how we met.
And then that starts to become like you send her a note like, Carol Burnett, do you like me? Check yes or no. By the way, no one would judge you if you wrote limos all the time. You've created and co-created some of the best television shows on the planet.
Yeah.
If I saw you, Vince Gilligan, if I saw you like riding a tiger on top of a limo that was also a jet, I'd be like, that totally is fine with me.
Oh, man, let's
but you're
not
the
rush
nicest
past
man
that.
in the world.
Yeah,
I wouldn't worry about it. Bob, I want to talk about the scene where Gene, where he trains Jeff how to rob the store, like where we finally see the present in black and white.
Oh, you're talking about like what episode is that?
Episode
611.
10. Is this in the snowy
Out in the snow.
Wonderland or running
Yes.
around? Oh,
Yes.
that was so fun, man. It was so fun because he's torturing this guy. Run, go faster, and he's enjoying it, and he's just this guy who's had something over on him.
Yes.
This guy who's going to give him away and destroy everything. And he's now got him under his thumb, and he's gonna, drive him crazy. Try to, and it was a lot of fun.
And shout out to Pat Healy, who plays the character.
Pat Healy
Yep.
plays it great.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we are friends. We were on The Post together, the movie The Post, and got to know each other there. And this was really fun to work with him again.
I think another big question, Ray. Difference between Miracle Whip and mayonnaise? It was a big debate in this last episode.
Well, so I'm here in New Hampshire with my family, and I have Richmond and Baltimore family, and Chesapeake. So they wanted me to.
This just happens to be in the house. I can see because it's half empty. Yeah. Duke's mayonnaise.
Exactly. They wanted me to show you that. I think Miracle Whip is too sweet. I don't do Miracle Whip. But Vince and I had a good discussion on that day of like, would you think this would work in a recipe? And the fact is, it is sweet. If you had a recipe that wanted mayonnaise and you had relatives in Virginia or Maryland that wanted Dukes, it would actually be a conundrum. You'd have to give some thought to it.
And you know how dumb we are, by the way? We didn't get paid for any of this product.
Oh, come on.
It's like,
I'm watching the show going, Duke's mayonnaise must be there. Like, Cinnabon must have backed a truck of money up to,
No.
oddly, no.
No.
It's great.
Wait, Vince, you wish we got free mayonnaise?
You're going to get it now. You're going to get it,
get
and
more
Carol Burnett's
mayonnaise
going to
than
send
I
it to you,
Gonna
is how
get
it's going to work out.
My heart's desire, yeah.
When we come back, we have more interviews with the cast, including ones with Giancarlo Esposito and Tony Dalton. We'll be right back on Talking Saul.
Walt and Jesse were certainly at the center of Breaking Bad, and Brian and Aaron are just two people that are exceptionally special human beings and have always been generous about being willing to step back into our world, which is an unbelievable privilege to have those actors willing to do that. For Vince and Peter, the big question was when and how do you use them? And I think restraint was very much like an element in that, because if you go too far too fast, then you're shifting the focus in a way that really doesn't service the story that we've been telling with Better Call Saul. Seeing Walt and Jesse does give you context for Jimmy's arc into Saul. Like, you're reminded of who Saul was, and you're reminded of how far we've come in the story, and I think that's really important. Walt and Jesse become a measuring stick of sorts in terms of the growth or lack thereof. Having Brian and Aaron on set, it was definitely, again, a marker of like, oh, it really is the end. The show is going to finish. It was a sign of that. Having those guys around is just a celebration. Like, they're just so joyful, and having them on set, it was just fun.
Welcome back to Talking Saul. That was executive producer Melissa Bernstein on Welcoming Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul back to set to reprise their roles of Walt and Jesse. We're back with Vince, Peter, Bob, and Ray. The Walt and Jesse reactions, Trek 8, LFC on Twitter says, I literally got goosebumps seeing Jesse and Walt in Better Call Saul. Adamo Giancola says, Walt and Jesse's return was absolutely glorious. And so I guess, you know, it's interesting to see as we revisit this, Saul's first scene in Breaking Bad with Bryan and Aaron. Now that we have all this other information, it just gives it a lot more weight.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing to be in that Winnebago with them. And it was just fun to do that. But I couldn't believe they were there and we were doing it. It was something. It's
interesting, Peter, it's like bringing back Walt and Jesse now, it almost kind of feels like we're able to kind of retcon a little bit. And it's like there's more of Saul in the picture than you realize with Breaking Bad. He might have been a little more kind of commanding this scenario than we originally realized.
Yeah, we're seeing the show from a whole different point of view. And shooting that, by the way, was so weird coming back all these years later. And there was a sandstorm when we shot the first version of it on Breaking Bad, and then no sandstorm on the second version.
Yeah, but you couldn't see the damn sand.
Yeah, but it was going right up your nose. I remember that.
We were suffering it.
Yes.
But then I can't wait to watch it on screen and have the audience go, these guys are such heroes.
Yes.
They survived the sand. And you can't see the sand.
You can't see the sand. You can't see the sand.
You're going to put the sand on the screen.
And it was cold, too. Anyway, but having said all that, you know, we thought it would be really fascinating to see the story of Breaking Bad from this other point of view, to see that maybe Breaking Bad in some ways was Walt and Jesse's story, but this is Saul or Jimmy's story, and now we see what they meant to him. And yeah, it's, you know, you got to wonder if Walt hadn't walked into that office, the story of Breaking Bad would be, I think, pretty different.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I think that I'm sorry, that moment where he realizes they cooked the blue stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been waiting for.
Yeah.
He's been waiting for somebody like that to walk into his life. And that's why he suspected that could happen, and here they are. It's amazing.
So he learned nothing from dealing with Lalo? Nothing at all?
No, he did. I think that he sees Walt as like, this guy is not an off-the-rails guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
This guy has a life. He has a wife and kids, and he's a teacher, right? And so this is the difference. Is like, what if I could get a mastermind criminal who's not out of his mind? I think I got him.
I'm going to do
in
this.
front of me.
I'm going to try this terrible thing again, except this time I'm going to get it right.
Yeah,
I've learned.
sure.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and he almost does. Ray, you know, one of the big questions for Kim was like, you know, seeing Kim throughout this whole series in the back of your head going, she's not in Breaking Bad, so is she okay? And then seeing that scene with Kim and Jesse, can you talk about that connection?
Yeah, well, so I've met Aaron and Bryan because they come to our premieres all the time, and they are as lovely as you would want your hero actors to be. They are wonderful, wonderful people, and thrilled to come back and help us tell our story. They watch Better Call Saul, and Aaron was lovely. I was a little nervous to work with him because I'm a big fan, and he's a big fan of Kim Wexler, and so he was so sweet to me. And then we really enjoyed the fact that scene that he and I have, where I'm smoking out there, is that my character is at the end of the arc of realizing what going down a rabbit hole can do to your conscience, and her erosion of her conscience, she's gone all the way through. He's beginning it. This is even pre-Breaking Bad. So we really love that idea of like, if they could tell each other what they've learned, if she could tell him what she's learned, would he change what he's doing? I don't know. And instead, it's just these two people like missing each other in the moment. And she's also coming from what she had inside and signing divorce papers and that terrible scene that killed me with Saul, and him wanting to know, like, is he a good lawyer? And I loved that moment of her just answering that. He was when I knew him.
Vincent, Peter, what did it mean that Mike goes and has a conversation with Nacho's dad and says, here's what happened.
Boy.
Yeah, you should take that one.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Mike identifies with Nacho's dad. Mike lost a son. Nacho's dad lost a son, and Mike thinks that they're alike in some way. And he goes and has this heartrending scene, and he finds out, no, they don't. He said he thinks that maybe telling the dad that that there was revenge, that revenge is coming, is somehow going to make Dad feel not better, not going to heal him, but is going to keep that rage, keep that rage, and help him to go on. And in fact, boy, you know, I think Nacho's dad puts Mike in his place.
He does.
He really does.
Puts him on his back on his heels, doesn't he? He just, you know, Mike is always the guy that gets the last word. He's the guy in control, and this guy makes him look kind of sad and small, diminishes him. Yeah, you don't see that every day.
Especially, yeah, because he's basically saying it's like it's never going to end for you.
Yes.
There's no end.
Yeah.
There's no amount of revenge. It's always revenge upon revenge upon revenge
right.
upon revenge.
Yeah, and it's pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we go to break, I want to remind you to make sure to tune in for the series finale of Better Call Saul next Monday, August 15th on AMC and AMC Plus. Coming up, we have more interviews, including Giancarlo Esposito and Tony Dalton. We'll be right back.
It's an emotional moment for me inside to let a character go, and in this case, been so blessed to have him come back in a different incarnation slightly, so it gives me something else to play. I was talking to Tony Dalton, we were talking about how blessed we are to have been in a situation with such great creators. For an actor, it's all about the writing and where the character goes and how it is very meticulously put together. And then the other part of letting go of this is the family of filmmakers. There's no actor on the show who I have not enjoyed working with. It's a difficult one to let go of because the longer you're in the business, whether you're actor, director, stunt person, when you have an experience that is somehow so very special and it's indescribable in words, you mark it, you feel it. It's an energetic feeling that you never want to forget.
Welcome back to Talking Saul. That was Giancarlo Esposito. And also, huge hand for Giancarlo Esposito, please. That's amazing. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our featured fan. Please welcome Radova from Bordeaux, France. Hi, Radova, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. And I have a question, and the question is for Ray. Are there any plans to exhibit the amazing artwork you've made for the show?
Okay, Rada, let's talk about the artwork behind you. Is this your artwork?
Yeah, these are mine.
That's incredible.
So,
Okay. I think we need to plan your exhibition, not mine.
Thank you.
Did you do artwork for the show, Ray?
Yes, Kim's bedroom has bird paintings above the bed in the condo that are my actual paintings. They are two paintings collaged together. And let's see, the bathroom has one of sheets, and the living room has two, an owl and a woman laying on her back with her legs crossed. And if you're looking at the condo, at the couch, the left wall bookcase, that painting of how she's laying, I duplicated, no one will know this, but I duplicated, now you will, when the episode that I was allowed to direct and had a glorious time doing, 604, when Jimmy is describing pulling the sign out of the cement, I duplicated the posture. If anyone ever saw it, it's Kim laying in the exact same position as the drawing that I did on the other side of the wall.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Nice.
That is a hell of an Easter egg. Raghava, I want to thank you so much for your question. As you can see in the background, these incredible portraits It's made for the cast and creators, and he actually had sent some of his artwork. We were going to have it here so it could be given as gifts to you all, but it got stuck in customs. But we will get it, and we will get them to you. We will make sure that those portraits arrive. Your artwork is stunning. Thank you so much for your question, and thank you for being a fan.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to talk to you. Long Live Cinema on Instagram says, Bob, what do you think is the most dangerous trait of Saul Goodman?
His excitement and interest in being, he gets too carried away with his plots and plans, and that's the problem. He's a good guy deep down, but he's so happy to have plans and to make them complicated. This is the great shopping crime in the mall, It reminds me of Tom Sawyer. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever intended for that, but Saul's complicated plans, which seem sometimes too unnecessarily complicated, reminds me of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, you're going to be an old widow, and I'm going to be a little girl. I'm going through the window. Why don't you just open the window and go? You don't have to put on a dress. But it's just his excitement, his exuberance gets him into trouble and makes things worse because he takes it too far.
And he just can't get out of his own way. Yeah. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, more interviews with the cast and producers. We'll be right back with more Talking Saul. Welcome back to Talking Saul. I'm back with Vince, Peter, Bob, and Ray. All right, so we have 3 minutes and 40 seconds before this is done, and then there's another episode left, so I want to try to encapsulate as best we can. It's going to be a tall order. How should fans prepare themselves for the final episode next week?
Stock up and Depends.
Stock up on Depends.
It's a big one, and I can say how great it is because I didn't write it and I didn't direct it.
Depends paying you. You name check a lot of brands that aren't
and
giving you anything.
And I never get paid for any of them.
Yeah.
I know.
All the free.
We are not getting enough free mayonnaise or diapers.
It's not. Now it's people riding the tram at the Albuquerque airport, eating mayonnaise, crying, and then crapping their pants.
You need it because it goes right through you.
Yes.
Ray, how would you describe the series finale in 3 words? Can you even do that?
You can't leave that to me. But as always, we can't spoil anything. I think it is one of the most. And I've watched many of my favorite series, and it's such a hard job to do. My hat off. I have multiple hats I'm taking off right now to Peter. But just wrapping this whole thing up, it's so thoughtful. It's so respectful of the intelligence level of our fans and the heart level of our fans. Like it tugged at my heart. I'm still thinking about the ending. I can't wrap it up in 3 words. My apologies.
That's fine. Bob, rather than asking the 3-word question, someone asked a social media question.
I want to answer that.
You want to answer it? Okay, go ahead.
Hard-won truth.
Do it. You do it.
Hard-won truth.
Good.
Yeah.
Hard-won truth.
You so prepared that.
I literally prepared that while you were fumfering around for your 3 words.
Fumfering? What century is this?
Thank you for the fumfering.
So someone asked on social media, do you see Saul as a tragic character?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because he knows he's got a good sense of what's right, and he can't help himself.
Yeah.
And that's tragic.
Yeah.
I also feel like the worst thing is he can't let go of things. You got to be able to let go of things. And that's his biggest flaw, I'd say.
How are you feeling the finale, being a week away, this journey that started so many years ago?
Can't believe it. I can't believe we're almost done.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of I hope people find somebody who will let you hang on to them and grab them. And that's how you should watch. That's how you should watch the finale. Yeah, I'm excited for people to see it, but I can't believe it's almost over.
Well, I always gush about how much I respect you for what you've done and for what you've built and how and Bob, for what you've done to take this character from the other show and then spin him off into this whole other character with depth to see the other side of the wall from the other show.
It's easy as pie.
And watching all of you do amazing work and your careers blossom, it's just, I'm a fan of you both professionally and personally, and I want to thank you so much for making this incredible show.
Thanks, Chris.
Next week is the series finale of Better Call Saul. My guests have been Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, Bob Odenkirk, and the wonderful Ray Seahorn. I hope you win all the Emmys, and I want to say congratulations to everyone else, the rest of the incredible cast and crew on this amazing journey. You should also be so proud. Also, Better Call Saul fans, thank you for showing up and enjoying the ride. I can't wait to see how this wraps up. Catch the series finale next Monday, August 15th on AMC and AMC+. Stay safe, take care of each other. I'm Chris Hardwick. I'll see you in the fall for Walking and Talking Dead. Bye-bye.